but it is from 2D down to the 3D aspect. For you to move to the next stage, you have to export to a file format, which I'll explain very soon. And I have the next one also, SketchUp. SketchUp is also a BIM compliant software that allows you to design from your 2D down to 3D. Okay, now I would like us to understand something here. This first three, Revit, ArchiCAD, and SketchUp, they're used for design, especially ArchiCAD and SketchUp. They are majorly design softwares. Now, because of the ISO 19650 standard that is in place, that is why you see designers designing from SketchUp, but you can open that same SketchUp design inside ArchiCAD. And you can open that same ArchiCAD design inside Revit. I'm sure many will be like, why? Are they not supposed to be competitors in the marketplace? Yes, they are competitors in design. But ISO standard now allowed that, okay, yes, guys can be competitors, but there is a standard still guiding all of you to improve collaboration and integration. Okay, that is why you can use your design from ArchiCAD inside Revit, and the standard is called IFC format. Each of these softwares can export to an IFC format. Now, this IFC format can now be opened up in other construction softwares. So that's for 2D and 3D up here. Now the next one, Microsoft Project, Primavera. Now, Microsoft Project and Primavera are for 4D design. That is project scheduling and time forecast. Hope you understand that. So that is for the 4D stage. Now you can pick information from your 3D design being exported to XML file, then open up in Microsoft Project or Primavera. That is collaboration. All of these softwares are interrelated. They are interoperable. You can't use them without the other. So you need to have an idea, at least one of each of these sections. That is one for 3D, at least one for 4D, 5D, 6D. Do you understand? Now the next one is Plan Swift, BlueBeam Revo, Costex. Now all of these three, that's the Plan Swift, BlueBeam Revo, and Costex, are for quantification. You understand? They are for quantification and material schedule. Or you can pick quantities from your drawings, from your architectural design, your 3D model or your 2D model. You can export this information, these drawings, into any of these 5D softwares. So at least you need to know at least how to use one of the 5D software. Now I want you to take note of something. There is no software that can adequately give you a standard bill of quantity preparation. I'm sure many of us will be like, why? Now, this is the idea. Various organizations, various countries have various bill formats. So it is not possible to design softwares in isolation, especially for internationally recognized softwares. You can't design them in isolation. That is why they are used for just quantification and cost estimation. And it is when you extract your quantities that you can now use in your bill format. That's your spreadsheet, Excel. Do you understand? Now we have the next part, which is the 3ds Max, Navisworks, ResMan. Now, 3ds Max is also a visualization software. That is a 3D software that helps to get more detailed, creates more detailed or realistic information about your construction project. All those fine designs, fine renderings you see about of your building, the walkthrough and all of that, all that were created using the Autodesk 3ds Max. Now, Navisworks. Navisworks is another powerful BIM software, just like Autodesk Revit. Now with Navisworks, after you're done, it is a full integration software where at the end of the day, you bring in all your designs into it. That is the architectural design, your 4D design, that is from either MS Projects or Primavera. Then your 5D information, that's your cost information. You now bring all of this into a single platform, and that is Navisworks, where collaboration is at its peak. I told you that we can't achieve the vision of BIM without having a software that allows everyone to literally work together at the same time. Okay. Now, with any of these softwares, any of the construction team members can be in somewhere else, a different location entirely. But as long as you have the software and you're connected to the internet, you can work together. While the mechanical engineer is making the adjustments, the BIM manager for that construction project is the one doing the clash detection, clash analysis, giving instructions for everyone to make adjustments to their designs and all of that pre-project. That way it reduces so many risks and you have a vision of what the project is about. Now, ResMan is a facility management software that helps in giving more information and managing information for your construction project. Now we have the next point, which is the spreadsheet, Microsoft Excel. Microsoft Excel, as we all know, it is the final stage of the use of any of these softwares. At the end of the day, you eventually bring your information to spreadsheets for analysis, for bill preparation, the material and labor schedule spreadsheets. At the end of the day, all of the information that have been built can be exported to a spreadsheet. That is why Revit has export to Excel. ArchiCAD also has export to Excel. Microsoft Project has export to Excel. Primavera has export to Excel. PlanSwift has export to Excel. Bluebeam has export. Every one of them has export to Excel. Even Navisworks, even ResMan. This is why MS Excel is also like a very important tool in improvement of collaboration. And in 2023 generation we have now, the level of digital integration and collaboration, even your Excel spreadsheet is no longer in isolation. And every other team members can also work with it, and you get a log of who made an adjustment to the information on that spreadsheet. That is how you'll be able to track changes and know what is going on your construction project, pre-project, and during construction works. That way information will be passed and managed easily. That is built-in information management. Okay. Help you understand the idea. Then we have Microsoft Teams also, that is for meetings, Zoom meetings, and all of that. Then we have Google Drive. Google Drive is also one of a very strong and powerful BIM tool that has really helped. Okay. Now, this is just an image showing us what BIM is all about. Okay. Now, it is very important to understand that the use of BIM tools is the softwares. Softwares all help to achieve the vision of BIM. It is not something that one can do in isolation. You have to learn how to use all of the software. So every software that will be covered during the course of this program, they are all very, very important. That you can't use one without the knowledge of the other to make sure you are BIM compliant as a construction professional. Okay. Now we understand this is just the basics of what BIM is all about. Now we'll move to the next stage, which is the introduction to their Autodesk Revit software, which I'm sure by now many of us should have the software installed, and we're all making use of the demo version. And the version of Revit software that I'll be using for this program is the Autodesk Revit 2023. That's the version we are making use of. Now, this is because it is the most recent version and it has so many collaboration and process. Since 2020 post-COVID, more tools has been added to this software to improve its level of the information management and collaborative features and all of that, which is what we'll be looking at also during the course of this training. And this is why it is advised to have the most recent version of the software. Okay, it's still opening up here. Now, with the installation as said by QS Studio, okay, from 8 a.m. tomorrow, if you have problem with installing, you can always reach out either via TeamViewer or via WhatsApp. Now, once you reach out, we can always help you figure it out. The version we'll be using for the program is the trial version. Okay. And we'll get to the question and answer section very soon. So let's just quickly look at the software. Revit, it's still loading up. Okay, welcome to the Autodesk Revit software. I'm sure by now, everyone that has installed this software should be able to see this page. And this is called the home page for Autodesk Revit software. From anyone that is using the version from 2020 upwards should be able to have this kind of home page, but 2019 downwards, it's a very archaic version of the software. So I advise that you try as much as possible to get the most recent version of the software. Now, these software developers that develop and create new versions of software every year. The reason they are doing this is because new things are coming up every year. You can't expect someone using a 2019 version of a software to be as efficient as someone using a 2023 version of the software. It's not possible. You can never be on par because there are so many features and more level of integration that has been incorporated into all of the softwares that you can't know or you won't even have access to. So if you're using a very old version of any software, I would advise you always make sure you are updated. You get the most recent versions of the software. It helps a lot because you know that you're really missing out on so many things. Now, this is Revit 2023. Yeah. Now, the first aspect, please, I hope this session has been recording since. Okay. Now, this is the home page here. On my left-hand side here, we have the models. Now, under these models, we have the open and new. Now, when you talk about models in Autodesk Revit, I'm discussing the full 3D model, which is the building itself. That is what model covers. The complete building design. So you can use this open if you have an existing project or the architect had sent you a project, that's a Revit file for your quantification. You can just use this open, then open up the architectural design from all the design, Revit design from your architect, then pick your quantities from the design immediately. But if you are trying to create a simple 2D and 3D plan and model, you use this new. Okay. Now we have the next part here, which is families. Now, when we talk of families in Revit software, we are talking about each component in a building. We have the model. The model is like the big picture. That is everything, the entire building itself. When we talk about families, families are the parts that makes up the model. The windows, the doors, the roof design, the profile, all of that, they are all called families. Okay, so you can always open, if you want to go into designing of, there are people that make their career out of designing of Revit family. That is like their career, because all of this new construction manufacturers rather, they all have Revit families for all of their designs. When it comes to the MEP world, that's the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing world, the ACs, the mechanical equipment, the plumbing equipment, all of those, them now have models. If you go to LG now, you can always request for their models to incorporate into your design for your energy analysis. You see, all of these companies are ready. They've evolved already. It's now left for you as a professional to also evolve. If you go to Panasonic now, request for any of their models. While we are building your build, or you are doing your build preparation, and you need any of this equipment, you can always go to their software website and request for the model. Once you open up the model, that's to open families here. You would see each component that make up the model, all labeled, like the equipment, rather, that family. You would see the complete breakdown, the energy usage, the wattage, all of that are all listed inside that family. So you can easily get it from then open it up here and check all the features, so it will help you to prepare a more adequate cost information. Or you can also create your own model by using your own family by using the new family here. Now we have recent file. This opens up your most recent files. I think the first 20 or the first 10, depending on the size of your system screen. So you see your most recent files here. So instead of you to use open, if you've opened or you worked on the project earlier, you can make use of these models here. So you have the models that you've worked on the topmost parts here. About down here, we have the families down here. So these are all of the family. We have the circuit breaker, the table, the truss design, system designs, and all of that. Those are all under the families aspects. Okay, top here models, down here families, and those are your recent files that you've created. And that's all about the home page. Now let's click on this open, for example, here. It opens up your system file explorer, where you can just scroll down to wherever the project is, click on it, make sure it's an RVT file, that's a Revit file. Once you click on it, you can open it up. So that's for models here. I have the next part here, which is new. Now, new is where you would be creating your own new project. Now, under this template file, this is like the page file for the project you're going to create. We'll be making use of the metric architectural template. Some people can have it called metric default template. Now, we have the imperial and the metric system of measurement. That is the feet and inches system, FIS system. That is what is used by some countries. But we in Nigeria, we use the metric system here. So open up the metric architectural template is what we'll be using. For structural engineers, they open up the metric construction template or structural template. For mechanical engineers or electrical engineers or plumbing engineers, they make use of this system metric template. So once they open it, they just load in their design from the architect. So we'll see all of that for to conclude today's session. But now we'll be making use of the architectural template here. They can also browse for other templates. If your template is not stated there, once you click on browse, it will show you the template library. So you can make use of either the default metric. Like some people have seen this default metric initially. Some people will see the metric architectural template. So we have the plumbing, structural, the UK piping system, commercial designs, and all of that. Concept design 1D. Can you see? So I can only pick anyone here, but we won't be making use of the metric architectural templates or the default metric default template. We are creating a new project, not family. If we are creating a new family, then you click on project template, but you are creating a new model. So you have to click on project here. Do you understand? Then click OK. Takes a second to load. Okay. Now we have the default workspace. For many of us, this is how our workspace will look like. Let me bring this back here. So I can show you a view that everyone would probably be having by now. We have something like this. We have the first part up here, second part up here, this middle part like this. Okay. I would explain what all of this is, but I'm sure this is what we would have initially. Now, the first thing I would advise to do is to make sure you have a central screen. Okay, because on the left-hand side here, this is where we have the properties and the project browser. And this big space we have here is the workspace, which I would give more details about very soon. Now, the project browser here, what you just do is drag this out of this end here. Once you drag it out, you'd just drag it to the next end here. Make sure it goes like you want to snap it to the end of the screen. Can you see this? Once you snap just like this, it automatically snaps to this end and you release it. So we have the properties on the left, the project browser on the right. Some architects have theirs on the flipped side. That's the project browser here, properties here. But once you have this like this, it allows you to have a central work system. That is like the first thing as a new user for you to do. Okay. Now let's talk about tabs and ribbon. You see this first part here, this top part here, the file, architecture, and all of that. You see, all of these parts here, that's this top part here, they are called tabs. So inside all of these tabs, we have ribbons, the build, circulation, model, area, openings, datum, and work plane. All of these are called ribbon. So while we're working, if you hear me talking about tabs or talk about ribbons and all of that, I'm sure you should understand. And this here is called the quick access. Okay, what you see here is called the quick access toolbar. It's usually up like around this side for new users. Or it can be down here also. So this here is called quick access toolbar. Those names here, files, architecture, structure, and all of these are called the tabs. And everything within the tabs are called ribbons. Do you understand that? And let's start with the first part here, which is files. Once you click on these files, yeah, it shows you some set of icons. Now we have new to create new projects, like the name implies. Now under this new, we have project. That's to create a new 3D model I explained earlier. Family, conceptual mass. This is mostly used by architects when they want to design a building of like 20, 100 story buildings that has very funny designs. This is where they carry out those funny designs that we see, those complex looking designs. It is using this tool here that would create all of that, the mass, and turn it to floor plans, then continue with their work. So that's like the conceptual mass. You have your title block, that's your title page. The different annotation symbol, we can create symbols also. So that's for new year. Now we have open to open an existing model. Once you just hover your mouse around this open, or you click on this small arrow in front of this open here, you have your cloud model. That is opening up a Revit model that has been saved from the cloud. Excuse me. So if you are within a project team or your construction company is BIM compliant, if it's a design and build company, the architect designs and saves to the cloud. You as a cost engineer can just come in and open it up of the cloud. Now, while you are opening all of these models, especially in on a BIM compliance environment or even using any of these softwares, each computer system has their username. So for everyone that would make edits to any software, any design, or any information within the BIM management, there is a name and the date. Don't just get the changes just done by anybody. Now, this is usually like all of you within the project team, you have access to the company's BIM platform. Now, everyone that has access to the company's BIM or the organization's BIM platform has a name. Now, the beauty of BIM is not just anybody just coming out of nowhere to change information, but there is dates. Tell you on this dates, the architect made an adjustment to the design based on the information or based on the client's instruction. The QS made adjustments to his bill of quantities based on instruction. Same as valuation and all of that. So anybody that is making this adjustment, the name also comes all with it. I hope you understand. So it's not just one random person and it's not just any random person just coming in to make adjustments or all of that. It is based on those that have access to the platform or those that have access to the organization's model that gets to make those changes. That is BIM security and all of that. Now we have the next. So that is to open a model from a cloud. Okay. Yeah. Now the open aspects, that's the components. So these are components that have been created. That's the digital components for building elements that have been created by Autodesk. So you can open up a building component through the Autodesk Exchange platform and get those information. Now, IFC. IFC is like what's the standard created by ISO that allows for interoperability. When you hear IFC, IFC is what allows interoperability to occur. When you talk about interoperability, that means sharing information across different construction softwares. Do you understand? So an IFC file is what will allow, let's say, for example, the architect designs with SketchUp or designs with ArchiCAD, and you as a QS, you need information. You need to build your own cost information. So you're taking the 2D drawings and all of that. You need the 3D model. All you just have to do is tell the architect, okay, Mr. Architect, you're using so software. Convert to an IFC file. You as a QS, open up your Revit, open up the IFC file, and you can do your quantification. As easy as that. Do you understand? So that is IFC file. Then we have IFC options. Now you can set different options. That's the mapping system for a model. That's the wall components, the window components, and all of that. You can map it before. And you can open a Revit sample file. Those are the default sample file from Revit. Now save. Always make sure you save your work. So you have the save icon here to save. Or you can use Ctrl S also. Now save as, you can save to the cloud, that's online. Then you can save the project model itself, or save as templates, or save to your library. That's for save here. Now export also. Now that is export. You can export to CAD format. You can export to PDF. Excuse me. You can export to DWF or DWG, that's AutoCAD format also. And you can, this DWF and DWFX can be also used in Orion. You can export to Orion also. FBX is for 3ds Max. Then NWC is Navisworks. Then GBXML, this is what is used by for softwares for energy analysis, then hourly analysis program app used by mechanical engineers and all of that. So you can export that. Then IFC file, then database, then image and animations. So once you're done with your model, the images and all of that can be exported. Reports, you can export your schedules, that's your quantity takeoff or your area schedule. Export that to Excel also. Then we have options also. You can set the IFC view, the DWG file or DGN file setting. Okay, those are various file settings. Yeah. I have the next one, print. So you can print to PDF or do a direct print of the files and all of that. So that's what print is all about. Then you can close. So that's for the first tab here. The next tab here is architecture. Now this is where we get all the architectural features of the software. Under this architecture, we have the architectural tools. The first ribbon here is called build. Now inside this build, you have the wall, which is used for creating walls, as the name implies. Doors for creating doors. Windows for creating windows. Components, that's for table, chairs, site components, and all of that. Columns, architectural columns. Okay. Then roof, adding your roof to your design, the ceiling, the floor. So every architectural element, the curtain wall, the curtain grid, the mullions. So all of these are all built. They're all within the build element, which we would get to by tomorrow's session. I just want to do a quick run through ahead of tomorrow. Your time is fast spent. Then we have the next one here, which is circulation. Circulation has to do with how you move around the building and all of that. So we have your railings, the ramp, and the staircase. They are all within the circulation ribbon. Now we have the next one, which is model. So you can model line text, 3D text, 3D line. That a modeled line or a model text shows in all views. It is not a detailing line or a detailing text. It is a modeling line. So it shows a 3D elements on all your views. I just want you to take note of that. I can just jot that. Okay. Then room and area, as the name implies, for the rooms, to get the total area of the room boundary, and all of that. That's what this covers. Then openings, can create our lift shafts, wall openings, the roof opening for your roof dome lights, and all of that. Then datum. Datum is where we create our levels and grid line. Okay. Then the work plane, it is like the surface we are working with. That is just what this architectural aspect. By the time we start making use of it, you get a better perspective of what this is about. The next one here is also structure. So for structural engineers, this is what they make use of. Beam, structural wall, structural column, structural floors, trusses, brace, and beam system. All of these are covered within the structure ribbon here. Now for connection, we have the connection types. That's the gusseted, welded connection, bolt connection, and all of that. We have the connections all handled here under this connection aspect. Then for foundation design. So the thing is, every information that's created inside the software can be estimated from this software. You get the concept. Okay. Now for foundation here, we have the isolated foundation. That's your column base. Wall foundation, that's your strip foundation. Then slab wrapped foundation. Okay, so that's for the three types of foundation that are covered here. Our foundation is not covered. Sorry. But the isolated, you can like turn it upside down to convert. You mix the column and isolated for it to create a pile foundation. That is the topic for structural costs. Now, rebar has to do with reinforcements. Okay, your reinforcement design, arrangement, and all of that. Reinforcement can also be designed within the software. So that's all covered under the reinforcement tab. We have area, that's the wire mesh, PRC mesh, or the slab reinforcement. The reinforcement parts, the fabric area, the fabric sheet, the cover, and rebar. Rebar coupler is like how the joining between all of these reinforcement parts. That is covered within reinforcement here. Then components, you can create other 3D components. Then 3D lines as explained earlier. All of this was explained during the architectural aspect. The openings also explain this. That and workplace still does the same thing. Just the first set of ribbons here are focused on structural work. Majorly reinforced concrete works and all of that. And the next part here is steel. For steel designs, you have the connections, you have your plates, your bolts, your welding. You see, to the smallest level of information, how you are going to weld this. Well, it is doing analysis. While the engineers are designing, it is also doing the analysis for them. So even to the smallest, the bolt size, the smallest bolts that will be used, the way the design will be made and welded and all of that have all been incorporated. So you as the 4D or 5D professional, you don't just have to sit with your 5D alone. You have to understand that this software can do so many things. So you can give advice because you know what the software can do. You have an idea of what it can do. That's why I have to give you a run through. Because it would be a very good disservice if you don't have the full, can't grasp the full concept of what this software can do. Okay. Now we have different modifiers. That is adjustment to your reinforcements or steel designs. We have corner cuts, the weld, the shorten. That's to shorten the length of some bars or sections, that I sections or Z sections. Then we have the contour cuts. The other parametric cuts, you can also make cuts on the design. You can cut through or cut by as adjusting or welding. Then we have the next part, which is the work plane also. Also, we have the next tab here, which is under precast. For precast design, you can design it within the software here, then export as CAM to the fabrication team. So the fabrication team will just take this CAM file and design it within the factory before taking to site. So we have the segmentation, the parts, the reinforcement details, the sheets, that's reinforcement sheets details. The under fabrication, you have the drawings, shape drawings, and CAM export. So this CAM export that is being exported to other softwares and used. We have the next part, configuration. Then you can also disable update, precast updates. Now, if you have different project team working on the project, then you can always disable that update. Then system, this is the last tab we'll be looking at tonight before we take questions for what we've done so far. Now, that systems here, this is the part used for mechanical, electrical, and plumbing engineers. The first ribbon here is HVAC. So under HVAC, we have the ducts itself, the duct placeholders, fittings, accessories, and all of that. So those are all the MEP and HVAC designs here. Then we have the flex ducts, then the air terminals also. That's the inlet and outlet air terminals. Then we have the fabrication parts also. That's under fabrication here. Then P&ID collaboration. It's a modeling tool used by mechanical engineers and HVAC engineers. So it has also been integrated into Revit software. Then we have mechanical equipment and mechanical control devices. So that is all under the mechanical section. So if you have a complete 3D design, a complete model, you can always quantify for everything inside and can make adjustments also. For plumbing and piping, we have the pipes itself, same as ducts, then the pipe placeholders. Then we have the parallel pipe. Once we run parallel pipe also. Then we have the pipe fittings, pipe accessories, and flex pipe, also like flex tops. The flex pipe is what we use recently, the rubber kind of pipe that is being used for water closets and drainage, kitchen sink outlets. Now, plumbing equipment, fixtures, and sprinklers for fire system. The wires. Another beauty of this software is when it comes to electrical design. If the electrical engineer designs with Autodesk Revit, you as a quantifier, that's the QS, you can easily get the accurate quantities of wires that would be used on that project. This is a very funny and very nice concept. Okay, then we have the next part, which is the cable trays, the conduits, parallel conduits, also like pipe, the fittings, and the conduit fitting and the cable tray fittings. Now, under electrical also, we have electrical equipment, electrical devices, and your lighting fixtures. Then the modeling and work plane. So that is all for this. So from tomorrow's session, we'll begin with the inserts tab down to the last tab. Then we'll do a simple 3D design. Okay, so that'll be all for this first section. And we will take questions now.
All right, thank you, QS Kasim, for that. I must confess that I was carried away by your explanations that I felt like you should not stop. But then we lost a lot of time. Please, the floor is open. We are calling for questions, any further explanation, any direction you want him to, throw more lights on. This is the time for you to bring those questions on board. The floor is open. Just raise your hand and then you'll be asked to take the floor and present your question. Thank you.
Okay, someone dropped a question in the question and answer session. I said earlier, I think at the beginning of this course, I explained the Revit is not just a tool for design. It is a complete BIM tool that incorporates every construction professional, from the architect to engineers to quantity surveyors, even project managers, even sustainability engineers. Do you understand? So Revit is not just a software for design. Once the design has been done by any of the engineers, you see very heavy designs being done with this software. Now, you as a cost engineer, all you have to do is to open up the design and extract all of the quantities, which we'll do when we get there for the end of, by the time we get to the advanced section and all of that, you would extract all of your quantities. So instead of you to speak drawings, skill drawings, and all of that, all you just have to do is extract from the model and use in your bill of quantities. Okay, so Revit is not just a tool for engineers, it is a tool for everyone in the construction industry. Okay, we have another question here that says, looking out for a curious aspect of the BIM 360 with coordination of everything. Okay, we would get to that section for collaboration, and it's part of the tabs and ribbons here, which we'll get to very soon. Okay, to move the project browser, as I said earlier, this is it by default, it is on the left-hand side here. Okay, now some of you might make a mistake by either closing the properties or the project browser. So if you close, for example, the properties, once you close this here, you see you can't find anything, you'll be confused and scared. All you just have to do is right click, browsers, and just open up properties here rather. Just click on properties and it brings up your properties back. But if you close the project browser itself here, maybe while you're trying to adjust, you closed it mistakenly. Right click, browsers, project browser. It opens it up. So once it's down here, you drag to the right hand side, like you want to snap to the end. And once you drag itself, and once it gives you, it's giving you an highlight. Once it gives this highlight, you would release. So that is that for this. So you have the properties here and the project browser also. For you to make use of Revit, you have to make use, it has to be a 3D model. For 2D model, that is where we have softwares like Plan Suite, Bluebeam, and Costex. But Revit configuration is for 3D models. Installation of Revit software, and installing a software that is over 13 gig. So it is not something that would finish in 10 minutes. And depends on your each hard disk drive format, which is HDD or SSD, and the kind of RAM on your system and your processor speed. Those are factors that affect the time of installation of softwares. So you just leave it and allow it to run its thing. You don't have to force it or get worried. Just allow the software to run and install completely. Okay, you don't have to start panicking. I saw some people when it got to 97, they stopped. And no, it takes a very long time to install. You just have to be patient for the installation to be complete. It is still, once you've downloaded it, it's not something that installs in 5 minutes. Okay, I hope that is solved. Yes, I think the moderator made sure that the recordings are also available, so you get the recording. 2017 is a very, very old version of the software. No architect uses Revit 2017 anymore. And Revit does not scale. And one major thing I want you to understand, Revit does not downscale, it upscales. That means if the architect or anyone in the design team uses Revit 2023, you are using Revit 2017 or backwards, you are deceiving yourself. You don't have Revit because you can't open anything. That is why it's advisable to get the most recent version of the software. 2017 don't have 1/3 of the features 2023 has. It doesn't have it at all. Now, some of the things we might be doing during your class, the old versions will not have it. So it's really advisable you get 2022 to 2023 versions of the software. 2017 is archaic. I'm not sure anybody uses that in recent time for designs. Okay. So you can always install the recent version which we are using for the class, which is 2023. Okay. Do we have other questions?
Yes, thank you. While we are waiting for more questions, I also want to add to what you just said about the versions. Yes, it is well known that Revit, being the pride of Autodesk products, they try to maintain their market size, so they don't allow you to, use older versions. They encourage you to always migrate to newer versions. But for us who are part of this training, I, for one, I was the one that encouraged them to come along as you are. And by that, I mean any version of Revit that you have. Because I'm looking at it that we are giving them, we are showing the process, not necessarily the use, how to use it and be more efficient than the rest of them. No, we are showing them the process, how to use it in all that they are doing. So as such, I know very well, before you can be able to run Revit 2023, one, you cannot be using Windows 7. It will not install. And two, even if you have Windows 10, you will need Windows 10 up to a certain time. I think up to, is it June last year, before you can be able to install it or thereabouts. So these are some of the constraints that we know that individually they may be having. And we don't want them to be caught in that web. That is why we said, okay, anyone that will run on your system, install that one. The whole process you have just explained, the only differences that we know are on the tabs, the tools may not be there. Like in recent versions now, from 2021, they introduced this precast tool. So anybody who is using older version, he may not be able to have access to those precast tools. And for us, quantity surveyors, we are not aiming to be designers. That is my own the way I look at it. Ours is just to learn how to use the application, like you said, to be able to extract the necessary information that we use to do our job and do it more efficiently. That is why I encourage them, whatever versions that you know you can access or lay your hands on, whatever version that can work alongside with the operating system that you have, come along with it. The information and the process is still the same. What differs is just the tools that may be available in the versions that you are working with. I don't know if my opinion, which I've just passed on to them, is actually in order. If it is in order, maybe you can still ratify it so that all of us will be on the same page. Thank you, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much for that, sir. The thing is, the world is evolving, and it would be a very great disservice to anyone to be using a very old version or archaic versions of any software, either your operating system or all of that. You can always walk into any computer shop and upgrade. Windows 7 is as far as 2006, 2005, and that is like 18 years, close to 18 years ago. That is a very old Windows version. You can just walk into any computer store around you and tell them you need to upgrade to Windows 10, which they will do for you at a discount fee. So you can always try and do that to upgrade from Windows 7 to at least Windows 10, please. Now for the software itself, which is the Revit software, we're talking about collaboration, integrated system. You are working with an architect that knows what he's doing, a modern architect that uses Revit 2023 for designs, and it gives you the Revit file for your quantification. If you are using Revit that is lower than what the architect has sent to you, you would be paralyzed in the sense that you would not be able to open the work. And by that time, you start running helter-skelter, trying to get an update. So it's better to be prepared because this is 2023. The world is evolving and the world is becoming more digital. Okay, and the use of all of the softwares is becoming more paramount. Now, the 5D features, that is most of the quantification features and analysis features, are not available in old version, because then it looked like it was just architects or designers that made use of the software. But now the software has incorporated other construction professionals, including we quantity surveyors. So if you're using an old version of the software, you are doing a great disservice to yourself. So all you can do is walk into any computer store and upgrade your Windows. Once you've upgraded your Windows to at least a Windows 10, you should be able to install the Revit software. Please take note, if you're using a Celeron PC, don't install Revit on your system. That is a system that doesn't have fun, or the system that doesn't have fun. If you're using this kind of system, please don't install literally most of the software on your system, because it is stronger. Even though you're using a recent version, imagine an architect designs a 5-story building designed for you on Revit, and you have to do the quantification, which is 100 times faster with Revit. Then it sends you the model and you want to extract your quantities and your system trips off because the model is heavy. Because now even you see 3D models on BIM or cloud platform as high as 1 gig to 2 gig. Each of those models, detailed model that has the information rich models. Now you just have to just click, extract your quantities, click 2-3 clicks, you're done. Okay, so for you not to shoot yourself in the leg, it is advisable that you get the most recent version of the software. That is why 2023 version, trial version was made available. And you can get the full version from Revit sites, or you can contact the moderators on how to get a full version. Apart from that, please try to be updated. Any of your devices, because you should not be caught unaware. Imagine you have a project that's supposed to help you out. You took this kind of training, but you could not practice, and an opportunity came up. So please try to update your system and be updated. Okay, so try as much as possible. The software link was provided by the moderator, and it was sent to everyone's mail, I guess, to just download the trial version and install for you to practice. Okay. Do you have any other question? You can always install 2 versions. You can leave the 2020 you have and install the 2023. It does not affect each other. Okay, so you don't have to uninstall your old version. You just install the new version that you have. Okay, no problem, man. Do we still have any other questions for tonight? Okay, Mr. Moderator, sir.
Yeah, yes, Olamide Kashinro is asking if they can contact you. I would like to say you still have one more day to spend with us.
Yes, sir.
On this program before we go to the advanced. So you still have more time with us.
Yes,
Whoever
sir.
wants to contact you, he has more time to still get around to, knowing how to contact you. Your information will also be made available. All we ask for is maybe you can give us something like a profile of your information. We're supposed to present your biography or your profile before you take up the center stage. But because that was not available, we started without it. So maybe in the course of before the next time, you can provide us something that we can use to present to them in case of anybody that wants to contact you. The essence of some of this training and is to provide visibilities to our members, especially the ones that are doing well, so that should it be that somebody in the in the audience already has a project which was supposed to utilize some of the knowledges and proficiencies that you have, you can always get alongside with you, and 2 of you can do the collaboration.
Okay, I think we have a question that came in.
Yes.
If you have a work that was created with an old version, all you just have to do is just open it on the new one. As easy as that. You don't have to stress yourself. The thing is, you can't go back. You can't open a new version of work on an old version, but you can open an old version on a new version. So Revit just upscales. You don't downscale. Okay. The trial version is what we are working with. Okay, so you just have to install. We still have tomorrow's session. You can still install and be prepared ahead of tomorrow's session. Okay. The adverse effects of any software is based on the users, not the software itself. If a user is not proficient, the software will not be proficient. So that is just that, sir. Okay, so that'll be all for tonight.
I think there is one more question. Somebody that is asking, Ayodele, he says, please, I have installed the application. However, it's asking for serial number. Can you help clarify that?
Okay, sir. It should not ask for serial number. It should request for you to log in. That's once you've requested for your trial. I think moderator has explained that, I think, during that yesterday session, but also would discuss on that again tomorrow. Once you request for your trial, it would automatically understand, okay, your email address is connected to that trial. Once you log it in, you would proceed with your 30 days trial. A black dialog is because of it's still loading. Once you have a black dialog, it's still loading. Just hold on and allow it to load completely. Okay. The system's speed also affects 2022 version. That is the request for okay, 2022 version is requesting for code. All you just have to do is request. You can get the full distance on. Yes. IFC file was explained during the session. I just checked the video recording where I explained IFC file. Okay. Okay, I think I've answered the questions available here. Okay, Mr. Moderator, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for your time. And I appreciate everybody who was in attendance today, your patience and determination to still join us, even when we took you to Google Meet and you still followed us back. We appreciate you. And to make up for the lost time today, the section will begin again tomorrow by 8 o'clock, so as to give us like 2 hours sample time for us to do troubleshoot some of the installation challenges and downloading problems that we're having. So we're supposed to do it this evening by 7 o'clock, but because of the challenges with the Zoom access, we couldn't do it. So that will now be done tomorrow between 8 o'clock and 10 o'clock before the training starts tomorrow. So if you have any challenges, like so many persons that have been asking, they have these challenges and they have this problem, just keep it and bring it alongside tomorrow so that we'll direct you and guide you properly. But please, I must have to advise you, please, if you're joining the meeting tomorrow and you want to talk about a challenge that you're having, try and be joining through a computer, because we may ask you to share your screen so that we can walk you through the process. Alternatively, you can go and download TeamViewer. That way, you will be the application will be remotely installed on your computer. But that is for people who have already downloaded it in their computer. If you have downloaded it already in your computer and you're having challenges on how to go about the installation, then also go and download TeamViewer so that the application can be remotely installed for you. When you download TeamViewer, you also go ahead to create the account and login credentials that when we call upon you, you just deliver the information straight to the person that will remotely access your computer and be able to run the installations on their own. So, and we also remind you also that if you want to join our meeting, we don't like seeing things like Oppo phone, Galaxy 2090, iPhone 10. Please, we want to know the people that are in our midst, people that are joining the meeting. We want to be sure that we are discussing with people and not with bots. So we advise that you try and join with your created accounts, Zoom accounts, so that we'll know who is in attendance. The reason is because your time that you spend on this training is being monitored by the Institute. And as such, if you're joining with a phone that is an account that is just proxy, that time that you spent online will not be accounted for you. Instead, it will be accounted for the phone, which we don't have in our registry. So we encourage you to make sure that you are joining with a registered name where your CPD points will be registered to. That is the essence of it. Again, I also want to tell us that if you have not done your registration, because I have to allow some persons to come in straight without following through the registration process because they registered very late and they could not wait to receive the emails. Please, if you don't do your registration, you will not be able to get the next link to join the next meeting tomorrow morning. So therefore, we encourage you to try and complete that registration this night or at most in the morning so that you can be able to receive the email link that will give you direction on what to do next. I wish to call on my chairperson if she's still available to help us conclude this section so that we can retire for the night.
Okay, thank you everyone for the time well spent. I want to appreciate the president for being with us from the beginning up to this present moment, and the other participants too. Thank you all. So we hope to continue this session by tomorrow, hopefully by 8 o'clock in the morning. For those who had issues in joining today, I'm sure the issues will be resolved by tomorrow. We only have about 120 participants out of about 167. So it means we still need to put in more efforts for us to be able to join properly. Some are joining through their phones, some don't even have the PC. Please, if you want to take advantage of this training, join through your PC. It's going to be much more better for you. So thank you all for today's session. See you all tomorrow by God's grace. Thank you.